Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sincerely Self podcast. Today, we have a very exciting guest. We are joined by Erica Carrico. She is an award winning soul business coach, and she's also an author and just a life mentor as well. So, Erica, give us a little bit of background on you and just kind of your journey.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I always knew from a young age that I wanted to have a different kind of life and that I didn't want to, just like work for 50 years and then retire. And I had all these big dreams when I was little. And I think, I always sort of was at tug of war with my heart and my brain and society and kind of trying to decide between, do I follow my heart or do I do the responsible thing and go out and get a job and, do the whole thing, get married and have kids. And I kind of feel like for like 10 years, I walked a fine line and I did travel a ton. Like I've backpacked through over 50 different countries. I did do a lot of really cool sort of non-traditional things, but when I turned, I think it was 26, and I just started really feeling the pressure of like, Erica, you need to get a real job, and all of my friends were climbing the
Mhm.
corporate ladder and getting married and having kids, and I started feeling really behind. And so I ended up in corporate recruitment. I kind of figured if I don't know how to find what I want to do, then I'm going to help other people find jobs. And,
Yeah.
that kind of stuck for a while. And I actually took a job with a recruitment company down in Sydney, Australia. So I
Oh,
was working
cool.
in corporate, living in Sydney in Australia. So kind of killing two birds with one stone. But I think it was maybe 2009 or 10, a few years later, I just was so miserable and I felt like my life didn't have a meaning and I was earning millions of dollars for a company that had millions of dollars and they were telling me where I had to be and when I had to be there and you're supposed to be at your desk at 6:30 in the morning until 6:30 at night. Like we literally had to be there for 12 hours and I
Wow.
just remember it was like Groundhog Day every day. And I'm like living in this beautiful country and I can't even see the beach. I don't even see the sunrise. I don't see the sunset. And I
Mhm.
just, I was struggling with the depression and the anxiety. And I actually saw a life coach at that time. That was my first taste of coaching. And then I left my corporate job, spent a year backpacking around the world after that, and I knew I would never go back to corporate. And so, long story short, I didn't start my business when I got home from that trip. I did end up getting married. I got a master's degree and went into nonprofit management, became the executive director of a not for profit organization. Had two kids 5 years later, same situation. I was working for somebody else. And even though I was making a difference in the world, it was not my dream and it was not my work. And I was still being told where to be. And I was earning like no money doing it because now I was in the not for profit industry. So I
Mhm.
had a big wake up call and I was diagnosed with cancer. And that was when I was like, I cannot live my life like this anymore. And yeah, I knew I had to change everything. So I knew my marriage wasn't right. I knew where I was living wasn't right. I knew the job that I was doing wasn't right. And I kind of just made this promise to God or spirit or our highest self or whatever, it is that you want to call it, that whatever time I do have left, I will spend it doing my work here on earth and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I will let go of everything in my life that is not in 100% alignment with that. And that was 8 years ago, and I have never looked back. I have a multi-million dollar company now that impacts women around the world, and I've been divorced for almost 5 years, and my life is just mine. So it's really great.
Yeah. That is amazing. Your story is just such a beautiful testament to using, like, I don't know, I guess having like a realization of like my time here, I don't know how much time I have,
Yeah,
and being able to be like, I'm choosing me.
yeah,
And that's such a beautiful thing to be able to do, but it is a hard thing to be able to just kind of flip your world upside down
yeah.
and go with the uncertainty, knowing that that's what's going to make you happy.
It was terrifying. I honestly, I remember for a few years, I literally just felt like I had thrown a grenade in my life and I blew up everything. Like my home changed and I lost a lot of friends. My family didn't, I lost my whole ex-husband's family, right? Like, I mean, I lost everything. And at the time, it felt like, was it worth it? But now when I look at my life and the way that I've built it back up, it's like everything is here intentionally. Every relationship is in my life intentionally. Every relationship belongs here. Everything in my home is intentional. How I spend my time is intentional. And it's like, my only regret, I suppose, is that I didn't do it sooner, but it's so
Yeah.
hard.
It's so hard. Yeah, like going against the path that you thought, the path that's comfortable. It is, quite honestly the scariest thing you could ever do,
Yeah.
really. But like you said, it's the most rewarding thing and being able to help other women do it because I think in society where it's such like a hustle culture, like you were saying, like at 26, that's still so young, you feel so much pressure to like have it all figured out. And I feel like so many women feel that pressure to have it all figured out already. And so, what would you say is kind of the first moments that you started realizing, it doesn't matter what other people think about my journey?
Way too late. I wish I would have had the book. So I wrote a book about all this and I wish I would have had this
Hmm.
book in my 20s because it's like a guide to figuring out, who you are and what you're here to do. And obviously that changes and evolves as you grow and get to know yourself, but it gives you a starting point. And for me, it wasn't until I was 36 and had cancer before, that was, I mean, so late in my life, like I could have started my own business at 26 and not gone through that whole disaster of a 10 years,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was quite late. It wasn't until I was in my mid 30s.
But I feel like it's never too late. You know what I mean? There's never, but I know what you mean. You feel like you've lost that time that you could have spent feeling this way and living this way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's like, I guess, I mean, I have clients that are in their mid 70s and they're just now, like they've done the career, they've retired, they've been retired for 20 years. They have grandkids now and they're just now figuring it out. Like you really are never too young. I have 75-year-old women in my program starting businesses and it's so beautiful.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that for them. They know what they want in life and
Yep.
they lived the whole thing. They lived the script that we all are told to live and they knew, you know what? I still got time. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun to watch them sort of unravel their lives.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you touched a little bit on your book, but I do want to dive a little bit more into it. So you wrote the book, Awaken Your Purpose, 28-Day Journey to Clarity, Healing, and Prosperity. It
Yeah.
literally is a guide that
Yeah.
will just guide you through this healing journey. So just give us a little insight of what people can expect in the book.
Yeah, well, the book is really based around a program that I created back in 2017, and I took hundreds of women through in a private coaching capacity, and then it became a group program, and then an online course, and at this point now, thousands of people have gone through the process, and I've never had one say that they didn't find the clarity that they were looking for. Everybody comes out 100% clear. So it's like I kind of call it soul meets strategy because the first part is really about getting to know yourself. Who are you at soul level? What are your divine gifts? Why are you here, right? What is the essence of your soul? And it's really a deep dive into the more spiritual work. And then it kind of moves into healing some of the things that we need to heal, like what societal expectations are driving your life right now. Is it fear? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it that pressure to do what you feel you should be doing? And, if you didn't have those, what would you be doing?
Yeah.
And then the second half of it is around, I was in career coaching for so many years. And the second half is really a strategic process that helps you research all different kinds of business ideas that could really be in alignment with who you are at soul level. And I take you through a process of narrowing it down and putting it into this really cool little spreadsheet. And yeah, by the end, you have a very clear number one choice, number two, and number three. And people always start with one of those, and they're off. They're doing the thing. So.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that you've been able to like build this course for people to figure that out because really, and you have gone through this firsthand and like lived this experience, but living in authenticity is such a high vibration and you just draw in the wealth, the success, all these things that you're craving when you're like just living in alignment. And I think people, know this, but they don't know the middle step to get them there. And I love that you've been able to fulfill that for them and help them figure that middle part out.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I think for me in my 20s, I was searching for my purpose. I was like traveling the world and moving countries, and I was all over the place trying to find my life purpose, right? And obviously, what I realized is that it only comes from within. And so I just felt like through my cancer diagnosis, there's so many people out there that are living life based on what they should be doing and not what they're really meant to be doing. And I just had this clear calling that that is what I'm meant to do is help people to really awaken to that. So they always say we teach what we needed to learn.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. So, getting some advice from you, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit here. For the individuals listening to this podcast who are really struggling with trusting themselves, being like, "Oh, is this what's right for me or am I wrong?" Just second guessing themselves. What advice would you give them to kind of overcome that?
Yeah, that's really great. There's a lot of sort of things that I ask you in the book that helps you get clear on that, and it is really validating. Because a lot of times we can't even see what our own gifts are, right? Like we might think that, I mean, we might even be really empathetic and think that that's kind of a nightmare or like not a gift because of whatever, but that could truly be a gift that we are given, but we just don't see it as that. So there's a lot of even going to your closest family or your closest friends and asking, what is unique about me, or what do you think is special about me, or what do you think is different about me that other people don't have? And I think that can be a really powerful move and really validating also.
Yeah, I love that because we tend to view the positive traits in other people so much clearly than
Yes.
we do in ourselves. And so, yeah, being able to take it from the people who love you is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, completely. We're always so hard on ourselves.
Exactly. I agree. What was kind of the steps you took to like improve that self-talk? Because like you said, we are always so hard on ourselves. And I think when you're going through something like completely changing all these things in your life, you can get a little hard on yourself. And so what were some of those changes you made in the self-talk?
Well, first of all, I guess I didn't even know that self-talk was a thing until I had my cancer experience. I literally thought that I was just my thoughts. And so that was something that I had to learn. And I didn't even know that you really could have a relationship with yourself. It was like self-love wasn't a big thing at the time. And, it was kind of becoming a thing, but I just sort of eye rolled at it. But
Mhm.
I think, really learning, I guess what cancer showed me was really how to love myself down to the cellular level and really become aware of my thoughts. And mine happened to be kidney cancer. And so that is just really related to like toxicity. And I knew that like the thoughts that I was thinking were very critical. They were very negative. It was a lot of like downward spiraling and a lot of like body shaming and picking myself apart all the time and trying to be perfect. And I really
Mhm.
recognized that the way that I was treating myself was terrible. And so over the years, it's been a case of recognizing, an awareness of when my mind is going into a certain direction and how can I replace it with almost the exact opposite thought. And for the first couple of years, it was really hard. It was a lot of work. And now I don't even think about it. My brain hardly ever spirals into the negative direction. I don't ever talk badly about myself or criticize myself inside. I just really try and focus on, loving myself and loving the unique parts of me and accepting all parts of me. And yeah, I feel like the more me that I become, the more my life grows, the stronger my relationships become, the bigger my business gets. It's truly a thing.
Yes, I love that. I totally agree. I feel like I always say on this podcast that you can condition your brain and you can reprogram it
Yes,
to constantly be thinking those
you
positive
have
thoughts.
to.
But
Yeah,
exactly.
you have
And
to.
yeah, and the hardest part is just starting because once you're first starting and catching those moments, it's a little tricky. But like you said, it just becomes the new normal. Like you don't even think about it.
No, exactly. And it makes so much sense. It's like if your thoughts have created the reality that you're existing in right now, right? And so if you want to create more of this, then you're going to have to continue thinking the same thoughts. If you want to change your reality and create something different, you have to think a different way so that you take different action. And I think that's why
Mhm.
coaching is so wonderful because I mean, even I have coach all the time because I can't see where I get stuck, or like I don't know what I don't know. So I have to work with somebody to help expand my thinking and be able
Yeah.
to move into the next level of my life and business as well.
That's amazing. I think the best mindset to have is that, like, the world is your teacher and that
Yeah,
you can always keep learning. I think the minute you stop growing is when you think you've learned everything that you can and gained all the experiences you can. So I love that you constantly are wanting to grow and change and learn because that's really where success comes from.
completely. Yeah, for sure. We're always learning.
Exactly. So, Erica, the last question I have for you today. For all of our women who are about to start this soul-aligned business, what advice would you give them for just starting it out?
That's a really good question. Well, first of all, just don't have a plan B. Like, if you know that you want to do this, don't treat it like a side hustle. Don't treat it like a hobby. Don't say, well, if this doesn't work out, I'll do this. Like literally see it working, have a plan, get some help, right? Hire some support, whatever you need. Take a business course, learn from mentors, but make it happen. And yeah, I think the more that I see people starting businesses and they treat it like a business, it becomes a non-negotiable with like set hours and they're very intentional about it and they don't, constantly keep rescheduling things and whatever. Those are the businesses that actually make it because they're being treated like a business from the start. And I think that's probably the best general piece of advice I could give.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much, Erica, for joining us today. I will have all the links for Erica in the show notes. So wherever you're listening or watching the podcast, you guys will be able to go check that out. I will also have her book, and I really challenge you guys to go and read that because it's 28 days. You can be a completely new version of yourself by fall. Like that is so amazing to think about. So
Literally.
it literally, like it just takes that one choice to level up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you, Erica, and I will see you guys next week.